How is it going, folks, and happy Monday? I've had a busy weekend playing Football Manager, and today we are back with Tokyo Rising, and today we're back on the 4th of August. It's been almost 3 months since the last episode. In that time, 11 league games played. A lot's changed, not all of it for the better. Let's just get the most devastating news out of the way immediately. Yuichi Ota, player of the save game, I was saying at one point at the end of last year, continuing to improve at 22 years old, has announced his intentions to leave the club on a free transfer at the end of his current contract in January. He will not be here for what you might be expecting me to say is the J3 season next year, but the reality is J3 suddenly looks a long way away. Here is the league table after 23 games played for ourselves. Now, I am fully aware, yes, we are 6 points clear of Atletico Suzuka Club right now. We've played a game more than everyone trailing us, of which there's quite a few teams. And in terms of the 7 games between now and the end of the year, I don't think we play a single team in the bottom half. We have a really difficult run of games to end the year, which fills me with dread. And speaking of dread, today's games are hard. Nankatsu at home, I want to think we'll win. The other game we've got today is against Vierten, a team named after the number 14 in Dutch, after Johan Cruyff. And somehow they play in the 4th tier. This feels like a pub football team name, doesn't it? When you name yourself after just an obscure reference. Of course, Johan Cruyff not being that obscure, but I feel like in relation to Japanese football, it's a little bit random. Nevertheless, we have got an away day against them. They're currently in 4th. And whilst in the grand scheme of things, Nankatsu, who are predicted to win the league, aren't exactly flying right now. They're not a million miles away, and you just know, given our rivalry with them, they're going to cause us some issues. We've got 11 games to wrap up and a couple of transfers before we dive into the first game and away day today. So let's get straight into things. Run the intro editing, Jack. A new week of Tokyo Rising is about to begin. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to episode number 19 of the series here in Japan. Now, you might be sat there thinking, Jack, you've played 11 games since last episode. How come it was so many games? Well, I'll be honest, I kind of made a conscious decision a few months ago that I was going to come back for the games we're coming back for today, thinking we're taking on a load of teams towards the bottom of the table, mid-table, games that really we should be winning. And yet, brace yourselves, because when I show you this fixture screen here, this does not look like the form, does it, of a title-winning team. We've lost a lot of games. We've drawn too many games. It's really not been a great time. Now, before we talk about those games, quick little catch-up. I did sign a new backup goalkeeper. The backup goalkeeper I've picked up is Sasaki. He was the goalkeeper you might remember we were looking at during the summer, but I didn't really like his jumping reach. He was actually at the club last episode, but I don't think anyone actually noticed it in the comments. But yes, a new backup goalkeeper. Needed someone who could be a bit of an understudy to Noda. I know according to the star rating, they are kind of equivalent in ability, allegedly. Sasaki is definitely a better player. £200 a week for him. Happy to be a backup. I kind of like him. I like him more than Matsuzawa, which, I mean, I don't mean to be mean to Matsuzawa, but his day has come and gone rather quickly at this club. Now, at the end of last episode, we did have a bit of a striking crisis, you might remember, with a number of attackers out injured. The number of injured attackers continued to grow, and I ended up having to make a signing, and I went with Yutaro Izutsu here. He's happy to be an impact sub. He is a very, very good player. He is actually probably better than Otter. When you compare the two of them here, yes, he's not quite as good physically, but in terms of other aspects of his game, I'd argue he is better than the man who will be leaving at the end of the current season. So you might be wondering with Yutaro here, Jack, how come he's only started 4 games and come on off the bench 3 times? The reason for that is I signed him and then he instantly twisted his knee and missed a few weeks of football. So yeah, he's not been able to consistently feature in the team. A little bit frustrating. And in fact, if we just look at injury history here, sorted by date, you can kind of see just the injuries packing up. We had Otter, Takagi, and Azutsu all injured within a week of each other. I don't want to blame this atrocious form entirely on the lack of strikers, but I do feel like the injuries maybe derailed a few seasons for players. Since they've come back, they've struggled. That is until lately. As already mentioned, there's been 11 games played since last episode, so we're not going to go into quite the same normal detail, but this game here was a good one. Of course, end of last episode, we beat Tajiki, we drew against Honda. I wondered, had we turned a corner? This game felt like we might have done, although relying on Numata, our left back for goals, maybe not a reliable strategy. And well, if I thought that we'd turned a corner, not really the case, because this was a big game. Atletico Suzuka, currently second in the league, big game at home, backed us to beat them. We actually played pretty well in this game, but they played this 4-1-2-1-2 that just kind of exposed us a bit. on the break in a really uncharacteristic way. We ended up losing 1-0. It was a 5th-minute goal for them, and from there, we didn't score. Spoilers, when you don't score, you can't win a game of football. Anyway, we did manage to beat Sendai University, which was nice, but the remainder of the games in this month we really struggled with in August. 2-2 against Ganair. Awful result there, that down there towards the bottom of the table. Then a 1-1 draw against Tegavallo. We drew against them earlier on in the year, so maybe not quite as disastrous. We then lost 3-2 against Breabecca, who you may remember we played on the opening game of the season. And in this game here, we actually had a really good start. Kamori grabbed 2 goals in the space of 6 minutes for us. The right mid has broken recently into the Media Dream 11 and has started to look like a much better player. However, yeah, in this game here, he got 2 early goals. We then bottled it and then lost 3-2. So, yeah, maybe we're not that good. After that, 0-0 draw against Sony really highlighted our attacking woes. In this game, Otter and Takagi were both starting up top, and yet they couldn't find the back of the net. But, it's a bit of a big but, recently things have started to look a little on the up. It's not been a flawless September by any means, but against Musashino, who were down towards the bottom, we won 2-1. Coming back from behind was nice. We did then get absolutely hammered by FC Osaka. If you were sat thinking, are they a good team? No, they're in 11th. I feel like this is one of those freak results, at least that's how I'm trying to justify it in my head, but 3-0 defeat was embarrassing. But lately, a couple of nice results against Okinawa and also Maruyasu. Maruyasu are bottom of the league, so make of that what you will. Okinawa slightly higher up the table in 10th, but the reality is when you kind of cross-reference those games we've just played against the league table, the vast majority of them are against teams in the lower half of the table, which makes our end to the season a little bit scary. Just to highlight the games in the league beyond today's current episode, Tajigi City in 5th is going to be our home game. We've then got Honda in 7th away from home, Verspa who are in 3rd, Atletico Suzuka in 2nd, and then we end the year with Sendai in 14th. Sendai, the only team outside of real kind of promotion candidates we have yet to play. So, like I already mentioned, it looks good right now, the league table, but with teams with games in hand behind us, and the games we've got left to play, we've got a lot of work to do between now and the end of the year. And that work starts today. It's the team inspired by Johan Cruyff called Vertien. They play, if we look here, at the Toincho Sports Park Athletics Stadium. We are going to go do an away day there. Their key man, if you're wondering, is Shimo Saka. He is a very, very good striker. I feel like the quality that we have in our team is kind of fairly well-rounded, but actually, when you start to look at the Media Dream 11, where actually the man who I said got in at right mid is no longer here, it's kind of clear that we aren't like a dominant team. Sometimes when you're running away with a league title, you look at the Media Dream 11, don't you, and it's filled with your players. That's really not the case here. We have Takagi, who of course has that new deal signed and has been better lately, went through a bit of a slump, but besides him, it's not exactly a team of superstars. Anyway, we have got an away day to do. We're heading to the city of Inabe Gun and to the Toincho Sports Park Athletics Stadium. Try saying that name while you're drunk. Let's go see what it's got to offer. This is definitely one of those away days where some cheating was needed. We are heading away from Tokyo and we are heading to Nagoya and over here somewhere. I have just checked on Google Maps. Can I now find the stadium? Probably not. It's on this river somewhere. It's not like it's a really long river or anything. Turns out I was on the wrong river, so we never would have found the stadium. Here is the La Pita Toin Stadium. It has a different name here. It's right by the river. There's a few bits going on around it. First and foremost, satellite view. Here it is in all its glory. It is a stadium which seems to have one big stand, loads of stuff going on around it, including, of course, baseball, and I'm pleased to report, there is a car park, ladies and gentlemen. I feel happy all of a sudden. In terms of goings-on around the stadium, I'll be honest, the river looks a little bit dried up in this image here. I don't even know if you can really still classify it as a river. In terms of what's going on around the edge, it's, well, there is an amusement park, but for the most part, it's just a piss ton of fields. This is listed as an amusement park. Can I take a look at it? I want to inspect the amusement park. Will I be amused? The answer is no. Whereas amusement park probably means arcade. In my head, I was thinking there was going to be rides or something, which I don't think we have here, sadly. Does the stadium itself have some street view options? Oh my word. We've got one dot in the ground, a dot of hope. Before all of that though, let's have a look at the main stadium from the outside where I can confirm we're in the right place. For some reason, I assume they maybe ground shared this stadium. I love the branding. I love the design. They've really lent into the orange. This is actually a really cool looking stadium from the outside. Is anyone else shocked? They've got some really cool artwork as well of the club badges stuff outside the ground. I mean, call me judgmental. I saw the one stand on Google Earth and I was expecting it to be poxy. This actually looks really cool. Even the toilet signs are in orange. They really know their branding here. There is also a road on the other side of the stadium, but based on my experiences in Japan, yeah, I was just expecting to see a big fence. I can confirm there's just a big fence. I wonder how many footballs they lose a season over the wall. Okay, there's one street view option in the stadium. There is a lot riding on this. What have you got to offer me here at the La Pitatoin Stadium? Here it is in all its glory, and here is the main stand. I'll be honest, the outside of it looks better than the inside of it, doesn't it? I mean, it looks pretty cool, I think. I'm disappointed the seats aren't orange, although this is from 2018. Maybe they've painted them orange recently. Does anyone else feel like the dugouts on the other side of the pitch, they just look quite lonely over there? I mean, I assume that is the dugouts. It looks like a very Japanese stadium. I noticed a lot of Japanese football stadiums tend to have a stand sat above kind of a changing area and kind of a lobby area, then a running track, and then there's just maybe one other stand the opposite end. That feels like the non-league Japanese football experience. Now, given the fact the stadium did appear to be in absolutely nowhere, no idea if I'm even going to be able to find the stadium, but you know what? I'm going to give it my best go. I will try and find the river we were on and take it from there. I'm not feeling optimistic. Although, is this it? Have I just... I'm good at this. Here is the stadium in all its 3D glory. I do want to just comment on the car parking. This is one of those car parks where you don't want to be parked in the middle. I feel like there's a high chance you get blocked in a car park like this, but nevertheless, it is a solid car park. In terms of the actual stadium, maybe the seats have been repainted orange, or at least painted a new colour. It's definitely more orange than in the Street View stuff, according to Google Earth. I mean, the location of it, I want to say, is pretty, but it is just a dried out river and a load of empty fields. It's not the most picturesque. In terms of goings on around the Great Art Ground, I'll be honest, it's one of the weaker ones. I mean, a dried out river is something, I guess. But I really like the outside of it. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10, maybe a 6. You know, I'm going to bumping it to a 6. I don't know if that's controversial. Let me know down below. Anyway, saying all of that, really the focus today doesn't need to be on the away day. It needs to be on this match. We need to step things up, but away from home against the team in 4th is tough. And just a little look at the league table here. They're only 8 points behind us with a game in hand. So if they win here, they cut that gap to 5. If they win their next game, their game in hand, cuts the gap to 2. This is a really big game. Now, in terms of team news, since Otter has announced his intentions to leave the club, even though he's got 11 goals in 20 games, I've started dropping him and playing Itsutsu instead. I want to give the 21-year-old a bit of time to try and develop. You might have noticed his contract does also run up at the end of the year, but we have got the option to trigger an extension if needed. I'm very upset with Otter. You know, he actually announced he was going to leave about a month ago, and I'm still not really over it. I thought I'd be over it by now, but no, I'm still being petty. He's on the bench. In terms of the rest of the team, though, despite all the injuries we've had, we're pretty much at full strength. Otsuka still out injured with his broken ankle, but he is slowly but surely getting fitter. I mean, he's not ready for a fitness test, and he's still out for 3 to 5 weeks. So maybe the orange injury icon here is a tad deceptive. But nevertheless, in terms of the actual team here, we're in a really, really good spot in terms of fitness. I suppose when you look at players' form in the last 5 games, it paints a slightly different picture, where maybe we're not looking so good. Kayanoki at left mid has been absolutely essential lately. Need another big performance from him today. In terms of shape, they're going to be lining up with a 4-3-3. I feel like that could be okay for us. I feel like I'm more scared against teams that play either 2 strikers or a centre attacking mid. I feel like a centre attacking mid does sometimes have the ability to get between our defensive mid and our centre back. So that's not necessarily a worry yet today. We need to win this game. There's a whole host of games going on elsewhere. I want to try and maintain the big gap at the top for as long as we can. Obviously, constantly aware, at some point, everyone else has games in hand on us. Anyway, we're taking on the team in orange. They've got a chance pretty much immediately here as Kimura gives it to Koki Kiddo, and we're down after 2.5 minutes. Also, Koki Kiddo, that sounds like the most rapper name ever, doesn't it? Koki Kiddo, Koki Kiddo definitely unleashes some beats on the side. Good finish by him. Noda in goal didn't do great either. Part of me hoped that maybe when we came up against bigger teams, they would play more on the attack so we could catch them on the counter more. Based on what we're seeing here, though, I'm not feeling so optimistic about that line of reasoning. Rio's picked up a yellow card after, well, not too long in this game. We've been pretty good discipline-wise so far this year. I think we're going to have to maintain it. And I feel like we have to take our chances when they come. Takaki heads that one over. That is pretty disastrous. And now, well, they're on the attack again. Less than halfway through this first half, there's been a bonanza of highlights already. Kimura cutting inside, goes on his lonesome. Noda tips it over, but I'm not enjoying this. This is not fun. Kimura perhaps to go short with their corner here. Gives it to the goal scorer, Kiddo. Kimura now back with the ball, whipping it towards the back post. Matsumoto is there for them. No, that's not the Matsumoto we were using in the first few years. He's still in our B team. At least I think, unless he snuck over to the other side. I don't think that happens in Football Manager. 10 minutes left of this first half. I was about to say, you know what? We're turning things around. They've not had a load of chances since they scored. They immediately have a highlight as that thought enters my mind before I can get the words out. Although, maybe there's a chance at a counter-attack here. Kimori, I mentioned the fact he's been okay lately. He gets it forward to Yamada, our new young playmaking talent. Need him to make magic happen if possible. Lays it back to Kimori, the right midfielder, who cuts inside, goes on his lonesome, and grabs his 6th goal of the year. Kimori this year has been in and out of the media dream 11. It feels like it kind of changes on a week-to-week basis. The right midfielder is a player with bags of potential, bags of talent. We've seen flashes of it. I need to see more than flashes between now and the end of the year. A goal like that fills me with a bit of confidence. Maybe we can turn things around to end the year. Maybe we can hold on. Maybe we're not going to completely bottle things. I certainly hope not. I feel like often when you kind of choke a league title, you sit there and think, well, we weren't one of the favourites. But the reality is the season preview, the strength that we've added to this team really suggests we should be up there, which makes the struggle lately all that more disappointing. But, well, could we turn it around immediately? Kayanoki, Yamada's shot is blocked. Tackle flies in. For a moment, I thought we were able to maybe get a second goal in quick succession, but it's been dealt with. And yet... And yet, we're not just going to go to half-time with no further highlights. There is more action here. And, of course, it's Noda in goal. The baby Noda launches it forward. Isutsu can't get there, but it falls to Yamada. Already has 1 assist. Could he turn provider? Again, no. He's had a rush of blood to the head. He's gone for goal. He should not have done that. 3 members of their back 4 on yellow cards is a little bit interesting. If we can get them on the back foot and maybe take the game to them, a sending off could well be on the cards. It is going to be 1-1 at the break. I've not loved what I've seen here, but after a flurry of early chances, it's safe to say that Vertienne have struggled a little bit. In terms of changes here, I'm looking at the striker ratings thinking it's not really good enough. I'm going to make the controversial decision to bring Otter back into the team. I know I made a big song and dance a moment ago about dropping him, and his recent form's not been very good since he announced his departure, but we need to change something up. Elsewhere, Yoshikawa, who's still learning to play centre mid slowly but surely, not having the greatest of games. Our midfield has actually been playing pretty well, which is making me consider going more attacking. Is that a stupid idea? Is that a dumb idea? I feel like I've not made this change often enough in games where we're maybe all level against bigger teams this year. So you know what? Roll of the dice. I feel like I've got to change my mindset a little bit to end this year. Like I mentioned, they've got a number of players on bookings. If we can just get on the front foot a little bit more with the more advanced wingers, maybe we can get them down a man. Maybe we can cause them a bit of an upset. Or maybe, having gone more attacking, there's just going to be no more highlights. 15 minutes played of this first half. Nothing, or second half. Nothing's happened, although Yamada has made something happen there. Yoshikawa, very glad we didn't sub him off, gets his 2nd goal of the season. If I'm not mistaken, this is our 2nd shot of the on target. It's also our 2nd goal. The ball was played to Yoshikawa. What a volley by a defensive midfielder, by the way. Yamada with his 2nd assist of the game, and was it offside? Was it hell? Wasn't even close. Now I'm starting to think, well, now I've gone attacking. Should I go more defensive now? Maybe. Should I change things up? If I was to go more defensive, I might have left it too late because they're on the attack. They've scored. Maybe I should have gone more defensive. Maybe it would have happened anyway. We'll never know. That's the thing I hate about Football Manager. You never really know if you made the right or wrong decision. I mean, the highlight here happened so quickly, didn't it? Suzuki to Kiddo. They just worked it down the line. Kim Song-sun whipping it in, and then Shimo Osaka just tucks it away. That was very straightforward. Numata's on a booking and hasn't been playing great, although when you look at the defence, no one's been playing great. I'm going to make a double change here. Ryo on a booking I don't like. Kobayashi's going to come on also. Apparently, Kayanoki's in danger of being bucked. You know what? Jun Nakajima, I want your inspiration here. Gonna bring him on. Gonna save our last sub for now. Takagi, by the way, is on a booking and on a 6.3 rating. Ordinarily our star man. I believe he still has the highest average rating in the league. He is having a not so good game here. In the second half, by the way, since we've gone more attacking, we've created a little bit more in terms of quality of chances. They've certainly created a lot less too. However, saying all of that, we're about to approach added time. There's 6 minutes of it. Nothing's really happening. On the one hand, I feel like given our recent form, especially against better teams, a draw's not disastrous. On the other, we had the lead in this game, And we did technically throw it away. Gonna tell the players I'm not happy because I feel like they need to know that. We've still got another game to do today against Nankatsu. Looking at the games elsewhere, Nankatsu just got battered 3-0. They now drop down to 10th all of a sudden. Elsewhere, Atletico Suzuka lost to Tajigi City. Shout out to the city of Tajigi. You've done us a massive favour there. Verspa in 3rd also lost. So you know what? We've actually gained a point there over everyone, which is absolutely mad because I was not happy with that performance and suddenly feels like a really good result. Anyway, that's one good result for us. We want to try and make it a great result in the next one. Nankatsu up next. Their media prediction was first. They are actually in some really, really atrocious form. There was a point a couple of months ago where I was looking at it thinking, man, they could actually start to catch us and turn their season around. That has really not happened. They've conceded a lot of goals. We've been struggling too lately, though. It's not going to be straightforward against the old enemy. Let's try and get a win. They're going to want to upset me, I think. Now, given our end to the season and our recent form, the one thing I didn't need to happen in the last week was injuries. We got 2 pretty bad ones. Now, the first of those is Takeshi, our centre-back, has been a mainstay of the first team, 24 league appearances. I don't think he's missed a game yet this year. Bad news for us, he's missing the game today. He's out for 3 to 9 days. I know what you're thinking, Jack, that's not that bad. Stop being dramatic. No. Gets much worse. I know that Takagi wasn't good last game, but make no mistake, he is a massive, massive miss for us. He is injured also, the 21-year-old out for up to 5 weeks. That's really, really bad. Like I said, I know he wasn't great last game, but he has the most goals in the division. He has the highest average rating. Kayanoki, interestingly enough, has the 2nd highest average rating, and he's right up there when it comes to assists. But without our main goal scorer, I am worried for this game today. Now, in terms of what it means for our system, losing Takagi, not ideal. It means that Asutsu is going to move over, but rather than a pressing forward, he's going to play as a poacher. And then Yuichi Ota, who I was ready to disregard from the first team and forget all about, I'm crawling back to him. I need the 22-year-old in the team today. Elsewhere, at the back, you'll notice this addition here. Kim is back. Yeah, Kim has been pretty consistently making appearances on off the bench. The 24-year-old centre-back has been a key member of the team for a number of years now. Yes, he stepped down the number of appearances versus last year, but to be fair, when he's played for us, he's played pretty blooming well. We're going to hope that the form for Kim carries on into this game here as we take on a Nankatsu side who I noticed sacked their manager midweek. Yeah, ahead of this game, they sacked their manager. I'm sure they're going to be looking for the kind of caretaker-manager bounce. It makes things a little bit scary. Going to be interesting to see if they shape up any differently when it comes to their formation. We're playing our 4-4-2. Another player that I forgot to mention is left back. Kobayashi's back in the team due to Namata being suspended. In terms of their system here, though, they're playing a 5 at the back. I bloody hate Nankatsu. I don't know if I've mentioned that enough. Now, annoyingly, we are the only game going on today. So whilst this game's being played, everyone else is going to be watching over at us. What it means is if we slip up here, suddenly all those teams trailing us have 2 games in hand and we don't even just be clear. But given Nankatsu are there for the taking, I have to believe we're going to take them. Kayanoki gets the assist. Asutsu, with only his 2nd goal of the season. Given the fact that Takagi's out for the next 5 weeks, this man might be important. To score within 3 minutes is pretty bloody nice. Kayanoki knocked it over the top. Asutsu is not the fastest striker by any means, but he found himself through, and I'll tell you what, he's picked out the bottom corner there expertly. Having got that early goal, we've not been able to get the quick 1-2 sucker punch. In fact, since going ahead, it's been a very, very even game. Nankatsu having a lot of the ball. Given their shape, I imagine they have a lot of the ball around the back. Set pieces could be critical for both teams. Yoshikawa half clears it away. Of course, he scored from a set piece last match. Otter unable to contest the ball that we cleared away, and now Nankatsu bringing it forward again. It's blocked away. Komori at right mid is going to pick up the pieces. We're going to go all the way back to Baby Noda and see what our goalkeeper can do. Not exactly known for his distribution, but that kick there, it's coming down with snow on it. Otter can't win it, and now the ball is going to be lumped forward. It's not pretty football being played here by either team, but it's football that has given us that early, advantage. Now we need to just push home that advantage if we can. Komori forward to Otter, who forgets the ball exists and just lets it hit him. Now Kudo bringing it for them. It is end-to-end stuff as neither team seems to be able to retain possession for more than 2 passes, but Otter is Well, in behind, kind of. He's shot wide, though. Half an hour played it, just the 2 highlights in this game. Not been a classic, but you know what? A win is a win, and right now we look like winning. They've not created a great deal, of course, having said that now. Our highlight begins with them in possession. But yes, Nankatsu limited to just 1 shot on target, despite having 57% of the ball. They are playing with 3 centre-backs, which I do feel like sometimes makes hitting them on the counter-attack that little bit more difficult. They've just got that extra man there for coverage. So if we get chances, we really need to take them. Speaking of which, Komori at right mid, stomping forward with the ball. He got a goal last game. He's got another here. Otter turns provider. It's his 7th goal. Cometh the moment, maybe cometh Komori. Otter laid the ball across. Komori picked it up a good 40 yards away from goal. The number 7 stomps forward into the box, tucks it away. Wasn't exactly in the bottom corner. Keeper couldn't get to it though. Okay, simple halftime team talk. Told the players I was happy. I don't really feel like changing things too much, although Kobayashi on a booking scares me. I'm going to bring in Tashima. Tashima has only made 1 appearance before today. Of course, he is kind of the emergency fullback option. You might remember he was a bit of a hero at the end of last year. Feel a bit bad he's not played more this year, although it's probably a good thing we've not been relying on him because he's not that good. If you were expecting Nankatsu to change their game plan chasing this game, it's not materialised yet, although with 23 minutes left, they do find themselves with possession in our corner area. The ball is going to be whipped across to Kudo at the edge of the box, although Yamada, the advanced playmaker, plucks that away. Who is that who doesn't know the offside rule? Otter, get back onside, son. Did well, actually, to work back and get in position. And now we find ourselves with the ball through Mitsuhashi. Yamada looked very, very good last game, didn't he? As centre mid, kind of becoming that playmaker. Displaced Ida, channeling his inner Ida, and well, Otter might be channeling his inner Takagi, because it's 3-0 here. We needed a win. We're going to get a win. Komori having another really, really good game, by the way. Scored already in this one. He's now going to get an assist. Finish for Otter was very, very straightforward at the end of things, but nevertheless, it had to find itself on target. It does. I feel slightly relaxed now. So I don't know. I feel like they could still get a goal back here. Or maybe we're going to get a 4th. Maybe we're going to find the misery compiler. Otter looked offside there. He's finished it. He's not offside. Otter scores bangers. I'm really going to miss Otter. I am really going to miss him. He's been playing pretty crap lately since he announced his intentions to leave. And yet performances like this one today make me think, man, yeah, I hope he reconsiders. I hope he changes his mind. I think it can technically happen when a player announces their intention to leave, but there's going to be a lot of interest in him. This game's going to finish here. Well, I was going to say 4-0. It could be 5. There's 10 seconds left. Asutsu to take the short corner to Yamada. Karanoki now at left mid to maybe put the ball into the box, or maybe just to pull the trigger and kick it straight at the goalkeeper. That is going to be the game right there. And then 4-0 win against our local rivals in Nankatsu is massive. Sadly, like I already mentioned, all the teams around us aren't playing today, so it's hard to know how good a result that one is. But what it does mean is when you look at the league table, we are 10 points clear. Then again, Verspa, Atletico Suzuka Club, Tochigi City, all 3 teams we've got to play in our last 5. Otter, by the way, was on a goal drought. Yeah, how long had he played? 10 hours without football until then, and then he went and played that performance and scored that crazy goal to end things. Komori, to be fair, did win man of the match. Like I mentioned, our end to the season is going to be rough. We have got the Shakai Jin Cup going on, but I'm not going to make that a priority. In terms of games to end the year, we've got Tochigi City up next, followed by Honda and then Verspa. I think I might do those 3 games next episode and hope that we can secure the title. If we don't secure the title with that game, we'll come back for Atletico Suzuka and whatever else we need to do to round up the season. They're in second. I'd desperately like to have the title wrapped up before we have to play them. Anyway, folks, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode today. Like I mentioned, 11 games played since last episode was quite a lot of Football Manager. I don't necessarily like doing that, but because I knew about this end of the season and how many games we've got to play against good teams, it felt like a good chance to get through some of the more winnable games, maybe face a few more challenges. Saying all of that, our form to end the year right now looks pretty atrocious. We need to continue to turn it around next episode, and well, I hope to see you guys for that one tomorrow. If you have enjoyed today's episode, as always, do go down below. Tomorrow, triple header. I'll see you guys for it. Until then, take things easy. It's me, Jack. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.